My name is Andy Ratto. I studied political science in the Laney Graduate School. You received a letter on October 8th with concerns about the Chick-fil-A on campus. That was signed by 7 campus LGBT groups representing queer students at Oxford, the Emory undergraduate population, the Laney Graduate School, the Med School, the Theology School, the Business School, and the Med School. You have not responded to that letter. In fact, you have not acknowledged to those students that you even received it. That letter was also sent to Dean Nyer. He also has not responded or acknowledged receiving that letter. You also received a letter back in August from Emory Gala, the gay and lesbian alumni. You've also not responded to them or acknowledged receiving that letter. I'm asking you, when the queer students on this campus and our allies have raised this as an issue for you and members of the administration to totally ignore them, to not only respond on the issues, but refuse to acknowledge our existence and our concerns. Do you feel that's a respectful way to treat members of the Emory community?
Well, you don't really want my answer. The answer to that question is no. Okay, now let me address what I think. No, it's not a respectful way to treat people. Okay?
Thank you.
Is that what you want?
Would you like to explain why you're not being respectful?
Sure. We have actually been, Emory's actually been immediately and early responsive to this. You realize that it was in August that we did issue a statement. And the statement, for those of you that need to be reminded of the issue, the current president of Chick-fil-A is a fellow named Dan Cathy. Dan Cathy made statements over the summer that are just outside of Emory's values. The question then, and by the way, it's apparent that Dan Cathy and some of his family members have used the largesse from their income from the Chick-fil-A enterprise to fund a foundation, and also in some cases apparently fund it directly. Organizations who, again, but actually practice certain forms of intolerance towards the LGBTQ community. Chick-fil-A is the organization through which they've made this money. Now, we know that there are certain Chick-fil-A franchises that actually have supported gay pride events. The Chick-fil-A outlet up in Decatur has a big sign in its window disagreeing with Mr. Cathy. So the pressure has been, shouldn't we answer Mr. Cathy with a rejection of having that enterprise on our campus? First of all, so to get back to the response, what we responded was, we made 3 points in the response. And that is that we were unequivocal about the fact that we do not share the values that Mr. Cathy shares. That prompted him to call me twice, as a matter of fact.
So you've spoken to him twice, but not responded to queer students on campus.
Secondly, I was trying to explain the response we had made. Okay? And I can send you another copy of that if you'd like. Secondly, we have said, we have decided that we would not remove Chick-fil-A. Third, and I'm going to come back to that point. And third, we have invited and encouraged our LGBT community and allies like myself to make our wishes known by the degree to which we purchase food from them. The tough thing about deciding that someone does not belong on our campus is that universities aren't very good at that. We spend all of our time at universities imagining how to be inclusive, how to bring different perspectives in, how to talk about Palestine and Israel, how to talk about gay and straight, how to talk about Tibet and China, how to talk about left and right in politics. What we're not very good at is imagining what we should exclude from our campuses. I think probably the only category where we would all agree that something does not belong on our campus would be the category of hate. it's not, I'm sorry?
There are other institutions on campus that have been decided have no place.
Oh, my
on
goodness.
campus, such as
I think we're talking a different category. The comment from the audience was, well, what about the ILA? Which was like, you don't want them on campus. And it's not because we think they are filled with hate. And so when we look at whether or not it makes sense to make our displeasure known to Mr. Cathy by punishing the business that gives him his largesse and his voice, is one that we have decided does not cross that line. Now, to the third point, it does appear that the voting going on at the cash register at Emory is becoming quite effective. And you saw some of the statistics. I don't know who leaked those statistics, where they came from. But from what I understand, those sales have been lagging during a time when sales of all other franchises in our Cox Hall have been growing, and also when all other franchises on campuses for Chick-fil-A also have been growing. It's very likely, I shouldn't say that, let me say this, we will not stand in the way of Sodexo determining that therefore the franchise no longer belongs to campus.
That's a great quote.
Thank you.
Thank you again for addressing our question.